Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's your man Earl. Listen, let's get right into it. You need to understand that many dreams, many goals, many plans that a person has dies at the hands of friends and family. Earl, what are you talking about? We've been talking about value and not letting people devalue you. And so we're going to be looking at the next couple of days. What are those individual places where value is created? If you've been listening, if you're a follower, you know we've talked about friends and family. We've talked about angel investors. We've brought up venture capitalists. We've talked about self image. We've also talked about your customer base. Well, let's start with the first one. Episode 266. Today is September 23rd. You know it's 2023. Getting it in. First area of where value is looked at are the people who are closest to you, your friends and your family. Now, you can look at this two different ways. A lot of times when you start a new business, you're writing a book, you're putting out music, you're about to open up a traditional brick and mortar, you want to do an e-commerce, listen, you want to do a nonprofit, you name it. The first people who you talk to are your friends. The first people who know what you're doing are your family, excuse me, because eventually they live with you, they are your relatives, and even though sometimes you don't tell them, they are simply observing what you're doing. So, what am I talking about? It is oftentimes your friends and family where you go to get your first level of investment, aka your first level of value. And if you do not understand your friends and your family, your dreams, your goals, your objectives can simply die. We're not going to mince any words here. We tell the truth. So, if you are going to allow your friends and your family to establish your value, you need to go back to the drawing board and understand that some people, in particularly your friends and your family, are the first people to land blast your dreams, land blast your goals, land blast your educational goals. I mean, listen, you name it. Why? Because these are the people who claim to know you, and oftentimes, let's be 1,000% real, these are the people who do know you. Well, Earl, how do you handle that? Glad you asked, and I'm done for the day. Episode 266, Friends and Family, your first value base. If you are blessed to have friends that are willing to support you, that's fantastic. If you are blessed to have family that supports you, that's fantastic. But let me be traditionally honest with you. I'm using those words very delicately. Oftentimes, your family does not support you in your first business. Okay. Oftentimes, your friends that you think are going to come by and be customers in your coffee shop are not going to come by. They'll come by one time, and then they're going to still go to their competitor. They're still going to go to the national chain. Why? Because it's hard for your friends and family to give you $5 for a coffee, to give you $15 for a book, to give you $45 an hour if you're a trainer, to download your music off of one of the platforms and pay for it. Why? Because they know you. Now let's last trip around this topic and we're done. Now, if you approach your friends and family and they agree to invest in you, make sure you get it in a contract. Earl, I knew you were going to say it. I'm going to tell you it right now because one of the mistakes I made early on in business is I did not utilize contracts because I thought everybody was going to be as honorable as I am. Nope. And guess what? I'm not telling you I'm perfect. I'm not telling you I haven't made any mistakes. I've made tons of mistakes. Okay, I'm a business owner. I owe contracts because guess what? I do business. I owe vendors. And so I'm not sitting here telling you that I don't owe any money, but we have transactions that go back and forth. And oftentimes, with the first level of investment, with the first level of value, is we let our parents give you $5,000. We let your best friend give yourself $3,000. And here's the challenge that I'm done. If you blow up, those people who invested in you or you borrowed money from will always flip the narrative and say, if it wasn't for me, you would have never got to where you are. And the reality of it is this: if you put things in writing, if you use contracts, even though they are your friends, even though they are your family, you can always go back to the contract because you paid them back the money. And I strongly suggest that's what you do. If you borrow 10 grand from your best friend, pay back the 10 grand. And do it in a contract. If you got family that gave you, you got 4 or 5 family members that all gave you $2,000 to open up your music studio, put it in writing and make sure you pay these people back. Why? Because if and when you blow up, you don't want people changing the narrative over your hard work. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm going to say it again. You do not want friends and family changing the narrative about the hard work that you put in to become successful. And it is those individuals, your friends and family, that will change the narrative. Because guess what? I'm your friend. I supported you. You're the person that I call when I was crying. And yes, we get all that. But remember, we're talking about not letting people devalue you. We're talking about you making sure you have the proper value. And when you're dealing with friends and when you're dealing with family, get it in writing, get the terms, get the interest rate if there is, get the so-called payback amount, get it in writing, because it's your friends and family that can kill your dreams, and it's your friends and family that can help your dreams come true. So get it in writing. Okay? You see all this material? Okay? Get your contracts from your friends and family in writing. And do not let people change the narrative over your value. Be appreciative, be humble, thank the Most High God that He put it on people's hearts to support you with an investment, whether it be $100 or $1,000. God bless you. God keep you. Episode 266, Friends and Family, the first level of value. Peace.